Hi, good afternoon, guys. Thank you so much for your time and coming to have a chat with me. So we're just going to jump straight in. I want to find out who you guys are, what you're about, and I'm putting you on the spot with this question a little bit, but what are your values? What drives you as a professional? And then later on, we'll have a chance to talk about what you guys do and why you're at the conference. So if you'd like to grab the mic, instead of me holding it for you.
Amazing. Yeah. I've had a lot of Vietnamese coffee today, so I might be shaking a little bit. But I'm Alyssa. I'm head of innovation here at CC. And basically my background has been, I've been in tech for 12 years, but my dad was an international school director. So it's quite interesting that it's kind of coming full circle because the last 3 jobs I've had have been in ed tech. And I'll pass this over to Rico before I get onto my values.
Yeah, thank you. And it's me now. Hello, I'm Rico. I'm a former international school principal, and my background, I've worked in Oman, I worked in Romania, and also her dad actually used to be my boss back in Oman. So small world. And I recently, transitioned to working into ed tech. And yeah, that's me.
Yeah, so I needed Rico to have his go before I went on to my values because the list is quite long, so I needed time to condense it. But I think ultimately it falls to quite maybe matriarchal values around collaboration, around understanding, around patience, around diversity. And, well, it's been pretty amazing and very validating to hear that LYIS shared those very similar values as well.
And I'll just jump onto what Alyssa said. Basically, all those things that she mentioned. And for me, I would just add the inclusivity part is very important to me as an individual. Inclusiveness is something that is very, very important to me because it's what I believe best ideas, collaboration thrives on. And I'm very fortunate to have an amazing team here at CC that's very inclusive and collaborative, and especially at LYIS that I don't visit enough of leadership organizations that are as inclusive and as collaborative as they claim to be.
Oh, fantastic answers. Thank you so much. Love to hear about your personal values and how those cross over into how you operate as a professional, which is a nice segue into talking about CC, about your companies. So if I could hand that to you, just to let everybody know, if they're not familiar, what it is, what services you provide. And as you talked about in the opening speech, Rico, what was it in response to? Why did you go about creating this, and how is that in alignment with LYIS? There is a question in there. There was a lot, but you could go with that and just let us know what your company does.
Basically, CC is an all-in-one platform, so an LMS, an SIS, communications, finance, admissions, basically bringing together all the different disparate tools and platforms that a school would usually use. I haven't lived that myself, but Rico has, and so he is very personally motivated, so I'll let him talk about that.
Thank you. Yes, exactly as Alyssa said. CC really came from a personal frustration with how broken school systems are. It really came from a frustration of myself running a secondary school and the amount of work and the amount of financial expense that went into working these systems that didn't talk to each other. So one of the core values of CC is we want genuine growth for schools. We want genuine school improvement. And the most important to start with is school data and school systems. When we think about school management system or systems in general, the backbone of a school, without a clear, streamless system, it's very hard to make data-driven, informed decision that can move the needle in the right direction. So really what we're really about here, very in line with LYIS, is the growth of schools and growth of school leaders. To grow school leaders, we want to make the best platform for them where they can get any information they need in a snap of a finger and move the needle towards the strategic plan that they have.
I do want to add one more thing very quickly. You know, when you use like Facebook, Instagram, when you started using these apps for the first time, you didn't need training. You didn't need some kind of list of instructions. You didn't need to go somewhere to figure out how to upload this or how to do that. If I wanted to even export all my messages, I was able to do that very easily. So why is it not the same with something so much more important, which is education? I heard from my own dad, from Rico, I mean, literally everyone here, actually, that too much professional development has been put towards learning tools, which is wrong. We need it to be intuitive, it needs to make sense, and it just needs to be scalable and accessible. So that's something cool that CC does.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And just to round off our conversation, given that we're at the end of the first full day of the conference, hopefully you've had time to have some great conversations and connect with professionals and get into some sessions as well. What are some key takeaways that you have from the first day of the conference, and what are you looking forward to as we go into day 2 tomorrow?
I must say I was most inspired by the panel discussion. There were 4 very, very inspiring women, and I love the point that they made that, you know, a lot of progress has been made in terms of diversity, but there's a long way to go still, and that acknowledgement was very, very important, that we're on the right track, but we need to keep that momentum up and just be aware and constantly kind of look at, okay, we've done this, but what else can we do? And then there was also another point that if you don't, I can't remember how they put it, but if you don't see, you can't be, or something like that. It was so well put. And yeah,
you can't be what you can't see.
You can't be what you can't see. Yes, I'm definitely going to be using that in the future, about having, you know, people from all kinds of backgrounds, neurodivergencies, whatever it might be, in various different positions, because if you see that, you can then be inspired to reach for that yourself. So, yeah.
Thank you. So for me, I would say my takeaway came from Shania's session. And the idea of we have to be so intentional about the actions we take to challenge assumptions, to challenge biases, to challenge deficit thinking, to challenge the marginalization of certain leaders that might not fit the stereotypical look of a school leader. That's so important. And it's not enough to challenge it internally in ourselves. It's important that we challenge it outwardly, challenge our staff. We can't just keep this dialogue in our head. We have to actively and be intentional in this challenge. So I'd say my big takeaway is it's not enough to push the agenda simply by doing your own personal development as a leader. As leaders, we need to lift others up. True leaders is about growing other leaders so they are able to grow other leaders, and the cycle keeps going and kind of expands it. So, yeah.
It's been tremendous speaking with you today. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining me on this interview, and enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.